some good stuff. That's growing on me.
You know what? I think absence has just made the heart grow fonder.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
That's how you been, man?
Been great. Thank you. I appreciate that. How have you been?
I'm doing well. Did you have a good travel or what was going on?
I was with my mom. I was helping her out. She's a cautionary tale because she never took care of herself. She's made it to 93 though, or 92, I should say. And she's she's doing all right, all things considered.
She did something right.
Yeah. She didn't really want to take care of herself, but she was like when I was growing up. She gave us vitamins. She made us smoothies. This is the 60s. She made us smoothies, gave us vitamins. She wouldn't let us have any like cereal, sugary cereal, or anything like that. So she was and she took when she was pregnant. She knew to take care of herself. So she was kind of smart. What she didn't understand was her skeletal system. And so she had surgeries, foot surgeries, knee surgeries, hip surgeries, ankle surgeries. So all these kinds of surgeries have compounded to have her basically crippled when she walks. So it's very difficult for her to move. And so she's in a lot of pain. But the fact that she's 92, I think that's because she knew how to take care of herself. And she never smoked and she never drank alcohol, never did any drugs. They never even did prescription drugs.
Well, she raised a good boy.
Well, I appreciate that.
Good man, I should say. Good man. I owe a lot to my family and friends. I'm wondering if any from my high schooler joined us because
from your reunion.
We had our 35th high school reunion.
35th. So you graduated in 1990.
1990, yeah.
1990. You graduated in 1990. That's crazy. 1990 is a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
I was a fully fledged adult in 1990.
So was I. I was 17 and a half.
No, you were not. You're a boy. You're a child.
Okay, when we really, it's funny because you go to a reunion and the people you see. Unlike college, it's like, I think it's a scale. Like the people from elementary school, you trust them, but we were different people. And then the people in high school, like, I trust them all. Like there's like 99% I would trust with my life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then like the college people, it's like 30%.
Oh, 30%, okay. All right.
30% I trust. So it's like
was it weird to see some people? Did they change like a lot and like you didn't recognize them?
No, everybody looked fantastic. Some people looked exceptional who were like working out and like
But you're still young. You're like 50? How old?
53, yeah.
53. So when I went to my reunion a few years ago, I had a best friend in high school. And when I went to my reunion, it was small. I went to a very small high school, and I was like, "Where's Ronnie, my friend?" I go, "Where's Ronnie?" And then I looked around, and there's some guy walking in, and I was like, "How's that homeless person getting in here?" It's like a fancy restaurant. I looked at him, and it was my friend Ronnie, my best friend in high school.
Ronnie wasn't doing so well.
No, he didn't age well at all. He didn't age well at all.
Oh man, well.
Most people look good, I have to say. But my best friend didn't.
Exactly. Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
we should have stayed in touch.
We didn't kick the bad habits that we all had back in high school.
Oh yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. I can't believe that you were such a recluse, though. So, our topic tonight is. Let me take a good look at it. The hidden cost of celebration: alcohol, toxicity, nutrient depletion, and lymphatic distress by Pharmacist Ben.
Who came up with that topic? That's a good topic, though.
You know what? And I decided not to forewarn you anymore because no matter what I've been thrown out at you, you're able to field it pretty well.
I can hit that curveball.
So you're doing well with them. So
I can hit the fastball. I can hit the curveball. That's what it's funny though. When I used to play, I played a lot of baseball in high school, but as soon as I started throwing these curves and these sliders, it was over. I couldn't deal with that. Like fastballs, breaking ball, I can handle those, but the sliders and the curveballs, those are just impossible. But you can feel very comfortable, like ask me whatever, and that's actually a very good topic. But I don't want to talk too much about topics as much as I want to answer questions.
Well, we have tons of questions too.
Yeah, I'd rather answer questions, but you want to just touch on that?
Yeah, because it was supposed to be kind of separate. The lymphatic distress, I've got two folks that I'm working with who are dealing with edema.
Let me break this down because I heard a few things. I want to. So lymphatic distress, alcohol toxicity.
Yeah. So the hidden cost of celebration: alcohol toxicity, nutrient depletion.
Oh yeah, nutrient depletion
and lymphatic distress, which was supposed to kind of be a separate topic because I have a couple of clients who are dealing with swollen legs. One got a swollen right leg, one's got a swollen left leg. And, we're going to help them with the lymphatic support that longevity has. But you know what? And one clearly understands the dirty blood concept. The other, they both understand the concept. Okay. But one I think takes it a bit more seriously than the other.
Okay.
And but still, one's on actually Dr. Conaway's gut protocol.
Very good.
And in his 19th day, he's dealing with a little bit of, swelling. So we're just trying to help him out. And then,
so there's a bunch of stuff here. Is there more? Other things you want to say?
Well, that's that topic. So I'll let you.
Okay. So, there's a few different things. So you said alcohol toxicity, and that second word is very important. Alcohol is a poison. Your body hates alcohol. A tiny little bit can be stimulating in a hormetic. Hormesis is the idea that a little bit of poison stimulates good stuff. Have you ever heard of this idea that that a little bit of stress in the body is actually good for you? Biologically, they call that hormesis, and a small, tiny amount of alcohol can be hormetic in the sense that it's a toxin and the body will make antitoxins. But any more than a tiny little amount is very hard on the body. There's no upside to alcohol, except for maybe psychologically, if you're having a bad day or bad life or something. But it's nasty, nasty stuff. Alcohol. It's a serious bodily toxin. And I'm not preaching to anybody because I've been hammered, more times than I could count. And I'm no stranger to being intoxicated. But just from a biochemical standpoint, there's nothing good about alcohol. Nothing. Maybe a little bit of that hormetic effect that I mentioned, or maybe some psychological effect, but it's just such a nasty toxin. If you do use alcohol, it's very important that you do nutrients that help your body process alcohol, like the B vitamins, particularly vitamin B1, thiamine. So after you drink, do your BTT. The worst thing you can do after you drink is what everybody does, which is go to the Pancake House or Denny's and have a bunch of pancakes and potatoes and bacon and all this stuff.
So the greasy fats aren't helpful.
Greasy fats and the carbs that throw off your blood sugar, all that. That's the worst thing you can do. What you want to do, and it's funny because if you're drinking a lot of alcohol, it's rare that you're going to really take care of yourself, with BTT, but that's what you should be doing, is BTT when you come home. Well, I used to actually carry BTT with me when I was drinking. And you know what else? You can actually put BTT in your vodka. You can actually infuse your vodka with nutrients.
I'm sorry. Backtrack.
Yeah.
You said just now that you used to carry your BTT with you when you were drinking. So that's within the last 20 years. What you were drinking in the last 20 years?
No, hang on a second. First of all, I carried a plastic bag. I didn't carry a jug with me. I carried it in a plastic bag. Okay. And second of all, I haven't drank since before COVID. Okay. That was the last time I really drank. I think I had one drink in the last 5 years. And I don't miss it. It's not like it was hard for me. I used to drink when I didn't want to talk to anybody. When you go out and you just want to have, and I don't want to have a conversation. I don't want to deal with anything. I'm just going out. That's when I would drink. I never drank at home. In my entire life, I've never drank at home. I would drink when I went out. And I would get, and I had this attitude that what's the point unless you get hammered? That was my attitude. So I would carry BTT with me, and I would carry B vitamin pills with me, because the B vitamins are very important, particularly thiamine, vitamin B1. and I would carry vitamin C with me, and I would have, when I came home, I would have N-acetylcysteine, NAC, for my liver. So there's things that you could do to mitigate the toxicity, but most people don't. And as I said, the worst thing you could do is the high carb, high refined carb, and cooked fats that we do. French fries, bacon, pizza, all the drunk food, all the drunk person's foods.
Yeah, it's funny. You remind me of my buddy. He's a doctor or he's a dentist, and he has those little tricks, just like you kind of mentioned. And I guess it's really dangerous for you folks to, because I can just see that you're thinking biochemically. How can I beat the curve? How can I mitigate this? And
yeah, I do. I thought that all the time. Drinking more water, we're doing, and also the best kind of drink, or best kind of alcoholic drink is vodka. Why? Because vodka's clean. It doesn't have the particulates. The particulates that give whiskey its flavor, that people really like, and wine its flavor, those can wreak havoc on a hangover. Those can make a hangover much worse. Vodka at least is clean. It doesn't have any impurities in it. So if you're going to drink alcohol, vodka is probably the best alcohol to drink. Everything else is going to have impurities, solid material that can exacerbate alcohol toxicity, particularly wine with histamines and tannins.
So one of my buddies kind of fell asleep a little earlier, and then caught a second wind. But does alcohol deplete the nutrients in your body, like the B vitamins? Is that what's going on?
Absolutely. In fact, one of the major nutrients that's depleted by alcohol is vitamin B1, which I consider to be the most undervalued and underappreciated of all the nutrients, is vitamin B1 for so many reasons. And vitamin B1 is specifically depleted by alcohol, so much so that vitamin B1 is used in detox facilities and drunk tanks. They'll literally put B1 right in the blood when somebody comes into the hospital for rehab or for alcohol detox. Thiamine is the first thing they put in the blood. Electrolytes are probably also important. So yes, the B vitamins, vitamin C, electrolytes, these are all depleted. The water-soluble vitamins, mostly nutrients, are all depleted by alcohol. And there are secondary deficiencies. Also, alcohol provides calories. So when you're drinking alcohol, you don't necessarily eat. And a lot of alcoholics get their calories from the alcohol. They don't need to eat because they get the calories from the alcohol, but the alcohol doesn't provide the nutrients. So they get their calories from the alcohol, but they end up nutritionally deficient. So yes, to answer your question, that's exactly what can happen, is nutrient deficiencies compound the hangover and compound alcohol toxicity.
On YouTube, Notorious Steph is asking, I just wanted to mention dysglycemia, alcoholism relationship. I have some people waking up with the shakes and they need a drink.
That could be alcohol withdrawal. That might not be dysglycemia, although dysglycemia is associated with alcoholism for sure, because as I said, you're getting calories without nutrients. So yes, dysglycemia, and the pancreas is especially affected by alcohol, and obviously the pancreas is where you make insulin. So there's a very important connection between dysglycemia and alcoholism. But the shakes are more alcohol withdrawal, and alcohol withdrawal can be very serious. And anybody who's an alcoholic knows you could die from alcohol withdrawal. If you are a serious alcoholic, you decide to quit. Yes, you can definitely experience withdrawal symptoms, some of which even just not drinking for a couple hours. If you're a severe alcoholic and you don't drink in the middle of the night, you go to sleep and you don't drink, yes, you can wake up with the shakes for sure. And that's alcohol withdrawal more than, or at least as much as it's dysglycemia.
Pharmacist Ben, when I was in college, I can remember some of my mean friends. There was this, every college has got like folks they call townies, right? So
townies.
Okay. So there was this one guy, nice guy, but just not, I don't know, just a nice guy. I'm just going to say that. And he was given a whole bottle of alcohol to drink by some of my bad friends.
What do you mean, a whole bottle of alcohol?
The guy guzzled a whole. First of all, the guy was probably 5'4", 125 pounds.
What kind of alcohol?
I can't remember.
Was it like an intense alcohol, like whiskey or vodka?
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have drank a sip. I don't remember what it was, but I just know that at that time, the only thing I was drinking would be like Kahlua or like,
sherry or something.
What's it? Something sweet, that's it.
Yeah.
This guy drank a whole bottle of maybe vodka and didn't look like it affected him at all. Like it just looked.
Yeah. Some people metabolize, some people's enzymes, especially if they're, there's an enzyme system in the liver that breaks down alcohol. If you have, if you've been toxing out the liver for a long period of time, your detox enzyme level rises, and you handle things much better. Not that you don't have to deal with the poison, but you detox quicker because your detox enzymes are higher. In fact, here's a funny story for you. When I was a pharmacist many years ago, I mean like a retail pharmacist, there was this lady, Judy. She used to come in and she would get a prescription for 11 Percocet, which I thought was kind of weird, 11 Percocet, but I just did it. And she would come in every couple of days and get 11 Percocet. Or, every couple of days she get 11 Percocet from this guy, Dr. Schmidt. And one day Judy came in, and instead of 11, she had a prescription for 111 Percocet. And I didn't think anything of that. That's kind of weird. She always got 11. Now she got 111. I just filled it. And then I thought to myself, wait a minute. That's kind of when I looked at the prescription, I could see that the 111 was really a 1. And she was putting extra 1s on there. And I called Dr. Schmidt. And I said, Dr. Schmidt, did you write a prescription for Judy for 111 Percocet? He said, no, I wrote for 1 Percocet. And I said, you didn't write for 11? You haven't been writing? No, I've been giving her 1 Percocet. And so I go out, and she already left. This was at a grocery store, Albertson's Pharmacy. And so I go out, run out from the pharmacy. I lock the pharmacy. I run out to the pharmacy because I'm responsible. And Judy's on the phone right outside. She's on the payphone. And I grab her and I said, Judy, I tried to be really mean. And I felt sorry for the lady. I wasn't really mad, but I tried to be really mean. Judy, I know what you did. I talked to Dr. Schmidt. You get in here right now. And she goes, oh, okay. She's so pathetic. It was so sad. And so she goes in, and I said, come back. I want that prescription right back. And she follows me in, and we go back. And then she says to me, I just got to go to the bathroom. And so I said, okay, I'll go to the bathroom. And I wait outside the door to make sure that everything's. And I listen. I hear the bag ripping open, the pharmacy bag that I'd given her. I heard ripping it open. And I hear the top coming off the bottle. I run to the bathroom, and I run into the ladies' room, and she's on the floor, and there's Percocet all over the floor, and she's shoving Percocet in her mouth, crunching on them. Like, it was the most incredible thing. She's like, when Percocet is running down her mouth in the bathroom. And I felt so bad for this woman. It was so sad to see this. But her detox enzymes were so high that she could just shove Percocet in her mouth, enough to kill me or you, and she didn't think anything of it. She was just shoving it in her mouth.
What does it do to you?
It's a pain pill, Percocet, oxycodone. Yeah, it's a pretty strong pain pill. And she was just shoving it in her mouth like it was candy, and it's crunching on this Percocet stuff. So anyway, the point is that your detox enzymes go up, and you can handle more alcohol. You can handle more Percocet.
I'm sorry to push this envelope. There's a rapper that has a song about taking Percocet. Is there a reason that they're doing Percocet at a party?
Yeah, they like to get high. They like the feeling. Percocet activates the centers in the brain that calm things down.
What's a Molly?
A Molly is short for molecule, and it's a nickname that's given to MDMA, which is a really interesting drug that activates your love center.
Okay, so the guy is singing a song about Molly and Percocet.
Molly makes people feel loving and kind to each other. And so when you feel loving and kind to each other, you relate. They give Molly to people in therapy. They used to anyway, when it was legal. It was legal for a long time. They would give it to people in therapy, couples therapy, because it makes you relate to people better. It makes you love people. It activates the love chemistry in your brain. So yeah, it's also, people are in pain. People are in existential pain. Percocet's for physical pain, but it works on existential pain, the pain of being alive. People have a lack of love in their life. And so MDMA activates love chemistry. You feel love more. You have a richer sensation of love chemistry.
All right, folks, back to our regularly scheduled
So
program.
let's take some questions.
So now, just briefly, Cliff said how you helped him. I was on psych meds for 40 years. I stopped 4 years ago after slow reduction. I'm 69. I take no meds at all. I used to listen to Brightside Ben before work, and it worked.
Yay, I know what I told them, but good for you. All of these, that's exactly right. These are all things we can all do.
Mm-hmm.
One person can do it, anybody can do it.
Okay, tell me how my friend who is on the protocol for gut repair, why is he dealing with lymphedema?
So that's a good question. Okay, so what is the lymph?
The lymph is some fluid that pushes through the body and cleans out.
Carries toxins.
Toxins.
But it doesn't just carry toxins and wastes. That's one thing it does. It also carries vitamins, fatty vitamins, and it also carries fatty hormones. So it's got two things that it's doing. It's carrying nutrients and it's carrying waste. This is kind of a problem because the more waste it's carrying, it also carries hormones. The more waste it's carrying, the less able it's going to be to distribute vitamins. Right? You follow me? And fats, good fats. The lymph is connected to the intestine. When you eat fatty foods, the fats don't go into the same system as the non-fats. When you eat fatty foods, the fats get broken down to its building blocks, the fatty acids, etc., the triglycerides and such, and the fatty nutrients. They go directly into the lymph. They don't go into the blood. Everything else goes into the blood. You with me so far? The fats don't go into the blood. They go into the lymph, and they circulate around the body, and they dump into the blood right here at the top of your chest. And if you have a steady stream of toxicity coming into the lymph through the digestive system, what ends up happening is the lymph becomes sluggish and stagnant, just like the blood becomes sticky and viscous and coagulated. The same thing happens with the lymph. The lymph becomes sluggish and sticky and not sticky, but clogged. In fact, the number one surgical procedure in children is a procedure that removes a part of the lymph that has become so clogged and so swollen that you have a problem swallowing.
Tonsillectomy.
Tonsils the lymph. Why is it that kids have clogged tonsils?
Sugar?
Because milk, usually, dairy, but something that's activating the immune system. The lymph is the home of the white blood cells, the immune system. The immune system lives in the lymph. The lymph is carrying waste, so it's got to have an immune system there. So if you have lymphedema, you have a lymphatic system that is stagnant, clogged, not moving correctly. And eventually what can happen is the fluid can start to leak out of the vessels. Instead of moving efficiently, it's clogged. And as the pressure is pushing it around, some of that pressure is pushing the liquid into the tissue. It's the liquid is leaving the vessel into the tissue. When that happens enough, the tissue becomes soggy and swollen. That condition is referred to as edema. Edema is when fluids build up in the tissues. You've seen it in older folks in the bottom of their body. When it happens secondary to a lymph condition, it's called lymphedema. You follow me?
Yes.
And this can occur for a lot of reasons. Digestive toxicity is the first thing, as always, to think of, but it can occur from damage to the lymph vessels, damage to the lymph nodes. It can occur from cancer surgery. It can occur, especially breast cancer surgery, because there's a lot of lymph in the breast area. It can occur from infections. It can also occur from some kind of developmental abnormality in the lymphatic system. It doesn't happen a lot. That's a very rare thing, but that can happen. So long story short, it's a degenerative condition for the most part that involves long-term toxicity coming in from the digestive system. And so this is your friend who has this condition?
Yeah, he is a distributor.
Well, guaranteed, your friend has a long-standing digestive problem. Now, eventually, I mean, this is just how everything's connected to everything else. It's just how the thin system works. Now, once you have cardiac issues, that can also compound it because the lymph is kind of associated with the blood in the sense that it depends on pumping action for its movement. The heart doesn't really affect the lymph as much as movement does. So if you're sedentary, that's going to compound the problem. And so sedentary lifestyles are involved here too. You ever hear people say, my grandfather smoked cigarettes and ate bacon and didn't pay attention to his health and blah, blah, blah. And he ended up living to 100 degrees, so 100 years old. So who cares about your stuff? You know, my grandfather lived a long, rich life and he did all these bad things. But what they don't tell you is your grandfather was farming. He was walking. He was physically active. He was moving. That's not the same as what happens today when people smoke and when they eat bacon and do the things that they shouldn't be doing. Most people are sedentary today. In the 1800s and the early 1900s, people weren't sedentary. When your grandfather was alive, he was farming and chopping wood and walking to the store and doing all these things that moved his body around. That's how the lymph, that's what propels the lymphatic fluid. The blood is propelled by the heart. The lymph is not propelled by the heart. The lymphatic fluid, I should say. And there's almost twice as many lymphatic vessels. There's probably close to 100,000 miles. Listen, AJ, 100,000 miles of lymph. You got about 60,000 miles of blood. We're talking about a lot of vessels here. And so eventually, if you're not moving, if it becomes stagnant, if you're not breathing correctly, all of these things conspire to clog things up. When the lymph becomes clogged up, fluid can leak out, and that's what lymphedema is. The solution is to clean the digestive system, keep toxins from getting into the lymph, drink more water, fluidize the lymph, and move your body. You can do things like slow, deep breathing. That's one way to move the lymph. Dry brushing is another way to move the lymph, especially the lymph under the skin. Hanging upside down on an inversion device is another way. Do you ever see people take hot and cold plunges?
Yeah.
You ever seen that? They go in a hot tub, they jump in a cold plunge, go back in a hot tub. That's a perfect way to move the lymph. Or you can do in the shower. You can turn to hot water, cold water. That's another way that you can move the lymphatics. There's a lot of different ways to move to support lymphatic movement.
Interesting.
Jumping up and down on a rebounder is a great idea. You know what I'm talking about? Those little mini trampolines.
Yep.
You can also do massage. There's lymphatic massage that can be done. There's actually certified therapists that actually do lymphatic massage. So there's a lot of different strategies you can use to help move the lymph. But if your lymph is clogged, it can be a serious problem, and much more serious than just lymphedema. It can cause, there's lymphatic cancers.
What I know about my buddy is that he works. Can you hear me?
No, I can't hear you.
You still don't hear me? Okay, Becca hears me.
Hey, Jay. Can't hear you, buddy.
I hear you, Ben. I hear you. Becca says she hears me too. Turn up your volume.
Hey, Jay.
Ben, I'm here.
It's not me.
Can you hear me, Ben?
I can't hear Becca either. Is it me?
It's you.
It's you.
Okay, I hear you.
Oh, now that Becca's on the screen, now you can hear.
No, I hear you. I'm sorry. I don't know how that happens. Sometimes it just the sound turns off.
Okay. Well, maybe. All right. So, interesting. So,
yeah,
the gentleman's, what I know about him is he like does workouts on a daily basis.
Okay.
But is an attorney, so probably a little sedentary at work.
Okay.
What I know about the woman, she cares for animals at home, probably does a lot less activity outside the home than the other gentleman. But I hear what you're saying, because I guess back in the day, you know, even if we're riding around in a horse and buggy, we're still doing some of this stuff and, you know,
True.
getting out and climbing up. And now we just jump in our Porsche and just, or
Exactly.
you go.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So here is a question on YouTube from Ms. Philly. Hello, Ben and Bruce. I'm dealing with restoring lost
Ben and Bruce. Who's Bruce?
Well, you know, not everybody knows my name. So
Okay.
I'm dealing with restoring lost potassium and electrolytes. What would be the best longevity products to help? Is that BTT perchance? It looks like it's 2.0 at that.
That's the one I like, but they're all 2.5. And there's 3.0 too. I like the 2.0. That's my favorite. But yes, there's different ones.
I got 2.5 that I'm drinking right now.
Yeah, this is the 2.0.
Pardon me, people didn't like me drinking out of a plastic cup, but you know.
Yeah, BTT is the way to go. And vegetable juices can help too, but BTT is the way to go. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Becca, wondering if there are any questions that you have from the questions at dailywithdoc.com. I have one question that Keely had asked about.
Okay.
She's got a client who's dealing with lymph system progression, lymphedema, lipedema, edema, fibromyalgia, lupus, progression up through to unbelievable pain.
Okay, I got you.
And then another part is
this woman on the call, because we could change this woman's life tonight.
I tried to get her coach on. She was supposed to be on, but
she can change her life tonight. She can be a new woman, because this is all very easy. What's the one thing all these things have in common? Read them again. Fibromyalgia, I heard lupus, lymphedema, lipedema. What else did I miss?
Fibromyalgia. You got them all.
Okay, fibromyalgia. What do they all have in common?
Leaky gut related.
No, let's leave it right there. This is all gut problems. It's all inflammatory gut problems. Every single one of those. And what's heartbreaking is she can go from she probably already has, go from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor. She'll go to a lupus doctor. She'll go to a female OBGYN doctor. She'll go to a cardiac doctor. She'll go to a lymph doctor. She'll go from doctor to doctor to doctor, and none of them will help her, because the problem is in the root, not in the fruit. Everything you just told me is fruit. You got to go to the root. And the root to every one of those conditions is digestive. And because I don't want people just believing me, I don't want just me to make these assertions. I want this lady to test this for herself. And how will you test it? Stop eating for a day or 2 or 3 and watch what happens to your symptoms. Now, she sounds like she's pretty broken down, so she's not going to completely relieve her symptoms probably in 1 or 2 or 3 days, but she'll make a dramatic reduction in her symptoms. Then when you start eating, you'll notice your symptoms come back. Prove it to yourself. So that's just to prove it to yourself. So what do you do to actually address the problem? Food diet. Look, AJ, you know. And obviously
they hearing it from you. They love hearing it.
Download the food diary from criticalhealthnews.com. Do a food diary. Start eliminating problem foods. And then start using digestive support for a leaky gut. Things like the Fucoid Z and Ultimate MSM and vitamin A, collagen peptides. Strengthen the digestive lining, the intestinal lining. That's first of all. Then correct dysbiosis. Dysbiosis is disturbances in gut bacteria. Nightly Essence, Ultimate Microbiome. There's another one. There's another probiotic that I forgot.
Well, those are the good ones.
There's another good probiotic. I forgot what
The
it's called.
Integris probiotic is pretty good.
Integris probiotic, exactly.
But what about the I-26?
Yeah, I was going to say. So probiotics. First, strengthen digestive lining. Then make sure you're using probiotics. Then I-26, absolutely, for SIBO. In fact, you might want to use the I-26 before you start using probiotics to kind of stabilize the intestine. Stay away from the FODMAPs foods. Make sure you're using quality fats. Remember, when you have an intestinal problem, like leaky gut, it's obvious that toxicity is getting into the blood. That's what leaky gut is by definition, right? But what's less obvious is that when the gut, the intestine is inflamed, you will not be able to absorb nutrients. You'll not be able to absorb your vitamins. You'll not be able to absorb your minerals. You're not going to be able to absorb your fats. All of your nutrient absorption is going to be compromised. So you have this 1-2 punch of toxicity, creating all those problems, and nutritional deficiency, making all those problems worse. So it's absolutely critical. It's absolutely critical that she addresses all the digestive strategies that we just talked about, all the digestive health issues that we just talked about. And B, you are going to notice results dramatically. And C, there is absolutely nothing, zero, nada, zippo, that the medical model can do for these conditions. Nothing. And if you think it's a problem now, you're chronic pain now, wait till your lupus really kicks in. Wait till the fibromyalgia really kicks in. Wait till the lymphedema really kicks in as you get older and as your condition deteriorates if you don't start making these corrections. But these corrections are very easy to make, and you could be a new woman in 30 days. If you have any questions, I wish you were on the call.
Okay, so her coach will be joining us. In the interim, I got another question. I believe this is from Craig on Rumble. I have an artificial aortic valance. Okay, well, looks like Keely.
Say that again.
Well, it looks like the woman whose client is dealing with those issues is here. So let's just continue with that. Keely.
Hey, how are you, dear?
How are you?
Having all sorts of problems getting on this stinking internet tonight.
Okay, well, now you fixed it. So
Hi, Keely.
So Keely, Pharmacist Ben just went over a bit about your clients' issues and how to deal with them. And
let me ask you a couple questions, Keely. How well do you know this person?
Pretty good.
A friend of yours?
A friend of mine actually is on a lot of the products, been tossing back and forth.
How old?
50, middle 50s.
Okay, so first of all, and you've known this person a long time?
A couple years.
Okay, so first of all, and this is not just for this gal. What's her name? This gal, first name?
Ellen.
This is not just for Ellen, not just for Keely. This is for everybody listening. You cannot supplement your way out of this kind of problem. As long as a stream of toxicity is getting into the bloodstream, you're like trying to bail water out of a leaky boat. If you have a big leak in your boat and it's sinking, you can bail water and you won't sink, but you're not going to go anywhere. And that's how supplements relate to toxicity in the body when you're dealing with multiple health challenges like this gal. She's bailing water, but eventually she's not going anywhere. So you've got to stop the stream of toxicity that's getting into the gut. The fact that it's tumbled out of control to this point where she's dealing with various forms of edema and fibromyalgia and lupus, autoimmunity. You haven't mentioned her reproductive problems, which she guarantees has.
She has no children, so that's not an issue. But the real issue is that she's in so much pain.
Let me finish, please. Okay. So, no, that's not the real issue that she's in pain. That's what she notices. That's not the real issue.
Well, I agree with that. But she's at the point where the inflammation is so bad now.
You gotta get a sentence out. Let me get a sentence out. Okay. So here's the issue. You haven't mentioned she's got fibromyalgia, right? Do you know 90% of fibromyalgia patients are women? What does that tell you? It's a menstrual problem. It's a reproductive problem. So yeah, she's got all these issues, but you haven't mentioned her reproductive problems. You haven't mentioned her menopausal issues or perimenopausal issues. She's got to have a horrible menopause or perimenopause if she's in her 50s. She's got to have weight problems. She's got to have brain fog problems. She probably has anxiety issues too. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's happening here. That's what she's noticing. You say her big problem is pain. Obviously, that's what you notice. If you're in pain, you're going to notice that. But she's got a whole slew of issues because what is going wrong with her body? Yeah, it starts with a leaky gut, but put AJ back on. And Keely, I'm sure you've heard me say this before.
A million times.
You've heard it a million times, I'm sure, right? A leaky gut is the source of it, but what is the mediating factor between the intervening factor, the middle factor between the leaky gut and all these symptoms?
Dirty blood.
Dirty blood. She's a patient with dirty blood. You gotta clean the blood. Now, obviously, the best way to clean the blood is by not putting the toxins in the first place, and that's where all the digestive stuff comes in. But in the meantime, there's things she can do to clean the blood. So, for example, if she has dirty blood and she has digestive issues and all these symptoms, she's got to be dysglycemic. So you want to work on her blood sugar. You want to get her on the healthy blood sugar path. You want to have, and she may not even know she has blood sugar problems. They may not even check for blood sugar problems, but it guarantees they're there. So you want her on the sweeties, the ultimate selenium, the ultimate niacin, the fucoid Z. All of these are in the interest of helping with blood sugar, but some of them will also help with her digestive health. Then you want to use the chelating agents. You know, you've heard me talk about chelating probably, right? Chelation. Mm-hmm. One of the best chelating products, one of the best chelating products that Longevity has is never marketed as a chelating product. For everybody who's, new people on the call, chelation is cleaning the blood, basically, magnetically pulling toxins out of the blood. One of the best chelating products you'll ever use is right here, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, and also the Mineral Tide. So get her on the Mineral Tide and Beyond Tangy Tangerine to clean the blood. Ultimate MSM is chelating. Ultimate Selenium is chelating. The CFX is chelating. The Fucoid Z is chelating. These are all for cleaning the blood. Drinking more water will help fluidize the blood. Using our ultimate EFAs will help fluidize the blood. And practicing slow, deep, rhythmic breathing techniques will fluidize the blood. There's good news and there's bad news. The bad news is she's in a world of hurt. She is on the road towards disaster. You can hear the train on the tracks, ready for a train wreck. You can hear it when you have this kind of breakdown. But the good news is, and it's really good news, the sicker you are, the faster you can turn around. Exactly. And that is the really good news. She can begin this turnaround process today, and she could be a new woman in less than a week. And she could be completely, the problem can be completely transformed as long as she has all her organs. You didn't mention that she has all her organs.
She has all of her organs, no female problems, already been through menopause, but she does have the weight.
As long as she has all her organs, she can turn this thing around in a matter of a couple months. But she can make a dramatic difference in a week or two. And if she keeps going to doctors, it ain't gonna happen. She's not gonna be able to do it. Because there's nothing, not that doctors are bad people, not that doctors are stupid, not that doctors are nefarious and they want to mess up your life. That's not it. Doctors are great people. I love my doctor friends. And when I go to hospitals as a pharmacist, or if I go to the ER with myself or with somebody I know, it's amazing to me how good and kind and empathic and how beautiful the doctors are, and everybody really in the hospitals. But they're not equipped. They don't have the tools to deal with these kinds of problems. There's nothing in the medical model in terms of pharmacy or surgical procedures that can address this. Yes, AJ.
Yeah, well, I found what you said a little bit funny because you don't know Keely well. She doesn't like doctors too much, only because she's had. Keely, are you frozen? I think she's frozen. She's had some struggles.
Okay, I'm there again. It's coming in and out.
She's had some struggles lately with some doctors. Keely, do you know how to fix this woman's gut?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so now
that's where it all starts.
Can you go to your second part of your question, which I did not get to?
The second part of my question, I can't look at because I'm on the phone and it will freeze. So, bottom line, let me see here.
I can get it. So what you said to me was MIF, microphone migration inhibitory factor.
Microphone?
Oh, well, maybe, it's migration inhibitory factor. It's not a cell, but pro-inflammatory cytokine.
You mean macrophage, not microphone.
Right.
Macrophage migration inhibitory factor. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, she wants you to discuss that.
Okay, in terms of what? In terms of a health problem or just what it is?
Promotes inflammation, fat cell dysfunction, vascular damage, and fibrosis. So I guess this same woman was diagnosed with that.
Okay, so macrophage migration inhibitory factor is, as the name describes, a protein. A factor means a protein that inhibits, it's an inhibitory factor, the migration of macrophages. Okay? So what is a macrophage? Macro means big, phage means eater. A macrophage is like a Pac-Man. Boom, boom, boom. Literally. It will literally eat things. Splinters, bacteria, old cells. Isn't that amazing? Come on now. You actually have these Pac-Man cells like this. That's freaking amazing. As a mouth. So when does the body make macrophage migrating inhibitory factors?
When you got dirty blood.
Obviously. And so it's used as a diagnostic tool. They say, oh, you have high MIF. There must be some inflammation somewhere. You follow me? It's a diagnostic tool. It's a way of diagnosing. And that's what the doctor meant when he said, I assume that he said you have high MIF. Is that what he said?
That is what he said.
So that means there's parts of the body that are being damaged. Is this the same patient?
Same patient. And what had happened is when I was doing a little bit of research, I had asked her, I said, I need your food diary. I said, because I know that there's something more that you are doing. And she had a reaction when she was literally eating like cheese. And I said, so I went back and I go, do you know that there are fillers in cheese? I said, and the chemical that they put in cheese, I said, that actually creates that inflammation for people that are dealing with what you're dealing with.
No, listen, Keely, there's no chemicals in cheese that do that. There may be chemicals.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, come forward. I couldn't hear you when you backed up.
Cheese is a major activator of the immune system via histamine. It can be, we'll put it that way, not always, because you've heard of histamine, I'm sure, Keely, right?
Yeah.
Antihistamine. Histamine is a major mediator between leaky gut and dirty blood, and then ultimately everything that happens with dirty blood. So women that have fibromyalgia, women that have, or people would say, that have lupus, autoimmune diseases, or any kind of manifestations of blood toxicity secondary to a leaky gut, will have high levels of histamine. Bacteria make histamine. You have immune cells in the intestine that make histamine. The histamine gets into the blood. You know what histamine is because you know that when you have hay fever, you take antihistamine. Histamine makes blood vessels open. It increases a swelling. It causes itching and redness and fluidity, secretions, all the hay fever stuff. So cheese is a major trigger of histamine. So what she's experiencing is a histamine overload. Now, you haven't said anything about her hay fever or her allergy response, but I'm sure she's got that too.
No hay fever and no allergies that we know of.
She's got it. There's no way.
Just tell me what you told me.
Yeah, she's not picking up on it. She doesn't notice it. These are all the manifestation of histamines and toxicity in the blood. So obviously cheese would be a problem. But you were so smart to tell her that. You told her exactly what she needs to do. Now, whether she takes your advice and takes the lessons, that's up to her. You can lead a horse to water. You can't make it drink. But you were right on. Do a food diary. Look for the toxicity. Cheese is a major activator of the immune system for some people via this histamine response. So, yes, you hit the nail on the head. Leaky gut, food diary, repopulate or kill off the bacteria in the small intestine, repopulate the large intestine, all the things we talk about all the time. This is like a classic case. The good news is she can turn this around quickly. The bad news is she better turn around quickly because she's on a very bad road. And I'm happy to help her if you want me to talk to her directly, but it sounds like you know what you're doing there, Keely.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Keely.
Yes.
Mwah. Talk to you later.
Okay, see you, hon. Bye-bye.
All right, Pharmacist Ben. In that same vein, there is some Kathleen on Rumble issue. I'm in the same exact vein of what you just been talking about 5 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Issue. Been eating some eating some cheddar cheese popcorn. My lips got very swollen, sores, and sore mouth and tongue. Yesterday, steamed some frozen spinach, and the same thing happened.
Well, isn't that interesting?
Swells up. What else does this say? But this additional pain takes days for it to go down. Is it the appeal?
What does cheese and spinach have in common?
Well, I'm guessing that they're causing a histamine response.
It's a histamine response. Spinach is very high in histamines.
But now, which
that's why, by the way, sometimes people will say things like, "Oh, but I'm gluten-free," right? As if like gluten is the only bad guy here in our food supply. I'm gluten-free. Oh, I'm a vegetarian. I just eat vegetables, and I'm gluten-free. I don't eat any of the bad foods. Spinach could be causing the problem. Cheese could be causing the problem. In this case, with this lady, if it's both spinach and cheese, it's probably histamine, which means it's a digestive issue.
Okay, well, what she's thinking it is, because she's a coast to coast, she's listened to you on Coast to Coast, so she's a coast to coast listener. In her mind, it's got to be the appeal and the glyphosate that's sprayed on the food.
That's probably not helping, but I would say it's more of a histamine response.
Okay, so histamine.
Glyphosate is obviously a problem because glyphosate changes the milieu of the intestine, the small intestine, kills off bacteria,
Okay,
and that can wreak havoc on the body. And it could be glyphosate. I'm not saying it's not, but I would say, given that it was both the cheese and the spinach, I would look for histamine. Response.
So you think that if she repaired her gut a bit, that she would have less of a response?
Yes, absolutely. And there's also antihistamines you can use. There's something called DAO, diamine oxidase. You can buy that on the internet. Melatonin is an antihistamine. Vitamin C is an antihistamine. Zinc is an antihistamine. Endocannabinoids, CBD, has antihistaminic properties.
So
bioflavonoids have antihistaminic properties. Quercetin has antihistaminic properties. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
If she drank her Tangy Tangerine with her dinner,
definitely help. 100%. Mm-hmm. I don't know about completely because I don't know how bad it is, but it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Kathleen, if you need help fixing your digestion, you can email us at questions@dailywithdoc.com, and Becca will make sure that someone gets help to you. Craig on Rumble says, I have an artificial aortic valance. I'm guessing this is a valve that requires me to take Coumadin, a blood thinner. Because of this, I have to avoid foods with vitamin K. I would like to start taking Tangy Tangerine.
Okay, so first of all, there's a lot of
vitamin K.
It ain't what you don't. Mark Twain said this, and I love this. It ain't what you don't know that causes a problem. It's what you know that ain't so. Right? We know things.
You know, this show is great. We quote Mark Twain. I mean, this is fabulous. Please continue, sir.
Here.
Yes, we're worldly.
It ain't what you know that causes your problems. It's what you know that ain't so. It ain't what you don't know that causes problems. It's what you know that ain't so. Vitamin K is not going to interfere with your poison. But the knuckleheads, and I shouldn't say that. They mean well. I just get a little angry. They mean well. They see vitamin K as being involved in the clotting process, and they immediately think it's going to antagonize the poison. That's not how nutrients work. They don't automatically clot the blood like a drug, no matter what. A drug is ignorant. It's a robot. It's soulless. It's lifeless. It just block, poison, kill. It doesn't have response. It has intelligence. Vitamin K has intelligence. It's not going to clot the blood or not clot the blood automatically just by taking vitamin K. The medical folks don't see a distinction. They don't understand that vitamin K is not a drug. It doesn't clot blood. It's involved in the clotting process, but it doesn't directly clot the blood. So it's not going to antagonize your warfarin. That being said, you're on a drug. The doctor owns you. The doctor is your daddy. Right now, you're his little boy.
Don't say it, man. It is late, but don't say it, please.
Okay. I was okay. I almost said it, but I was going to say. The doctor owns you. The hospital owns you. And the doctor owns you not because he's a bad person, but because you've given him your volition. You do what he says. And in a way, you got an artificial component in your body, so you're going to be more prone towards clotting. And you never want to clot, because clotting is going to lead to strokes and heart attacks and death. And you don't want that. So you're really stuck in a situation where you have to take the Coumadin, the warfarin, which is a really nasty blood thinner. The synonym for Coumadin is rat poison, not poetically. It literally is used to poison rats. But you need it because now your blood is not moving correctly. And so you have a tendency to clot. But here's what really becomes problematic. You have an artificial valve, an artificial aortic valve. Why do you have an artificial aortic valve? Because your natural aortic valve was damaged. Instead of correcting the damage or eliminating the cause of the damage so that it can heal, they took it out and put an artificial one in. Now, I'm not going to speculate on the benefits to the doctor for doing that. That's, we don't know why that was, but the fact is now you have instead of correcting the problem, they gave you an artificial component. Now, it's not his fault. That's what they do. The scorpion and the frog. I'm a scorpion. That's what I do. It's not his fault. That's what we do when we go to him to fix us. So the problem arose before your aortic valve, and nobody corrected the aortic valve, the problem that caused the aortic valve deterioration or degeneration. So you still have it. You still have the dysglycemia. You still have the blood toxicity. You still have the leaky gut. And instead of correcting at those levels, they replace the valve and they put you on a drug. The bottom line here is you can definitely take beyond Tangy Tangerine. Definitely, 100%. But, and this is a big but, you have to tell your doctor what you're doing. You have to let him know. You are in his care. And I'm not a lover of the medical model, as you know. I don't make that a secret. But he's caring for you. He's trying to do his best. And it's not, and this is true about all patients, all doctor-patient relationships. It's not fair to be in a doctor-patient relationship and then come and say, how do I not do this? Or what should I do? How do I contradict his advice or not listen to him? You can't do that. That's not fair to him because he's trying to take care of you, and you have a de facto agreement with him, a contract with him, de facto, not literally, but a de facto contract with him. So I'm telling you 100% you can take this, but you have to work with the doctor. I can't tell you to do things the doctor told you not to. But you're a free agent. You do whatever you need to do. You just tell them what you're doing. Yes.
So besides the leaky gut, and we're going to rapid fire on a couple more.
Glycation, there's probably some serious glycation going on.
Glycation. And then what about oils?
All that. Inflammatory oils. And what I forgot to mention, we were talking about leaky gut. One of the major causes of leaky gut is inflammatory oils. Is cooked oils, fried fats. Those are major inflammatory factors for the intestinal lining. So I didn't mention for Keely's friend with the fibromyalgia, but fried fat definitely can be a problem for this person.
All right, Pharmacist Ben, I'm gonna give you.
And by the way, for nutrients for this guy, well, I mean he's being cared for by doctors, so they're gonna have some say over this. But the healthy blood, the healthy brain heart pack for sure, ultimate niacin for sure, ultimate selenium for sure. I would probably throw in the CFX and the Zinc FX, ultimate EFAs. There's a lot of cardiac direct products that directly affect the heart and the brain and the circulatory system.
Thank you. Craig, if you need some help, and it sounds like you might, email us at questions at dailywithdoc.com. Questions at dailywithdoc.com. Thank you for being a good coast to coast listener and part of the family. Ben, we're going to rapid fire. What are your thoughts on today's article? To Sun or Not states that titanium dioxide is good to put on your skin.
Will you text me first? Send me the article. I'd like to read it. What was the headline?
To Sun or Not, and in the article it mentions that titanium dioxide is good to put on your skin.
Okay, so I have to read the article to address the article, so obviously I can't address it. But the sun is extremely important for a lot of reasons. You want to be in the sun. You want to get sun every day, or at least several times a week, a few times a week. Even if you have to get a sun lamp, if you live in Washington State or somewhere where there's not a lot of sun, and especially in the wintertime, get a sun lamp. You want the sun. Sunscreens come in two varieties, two categories, we'll say. They come in chemical form and they come in mineral form. The chemical sunscreens are awful, absolutely awful, among the most deadly and toxic chemicals that we interact with on a regular basis. And I don't care I hate having to talk behind a dermatologist or doctor's back, because I know they're saying this. And I went on, I've told this story before, I'll tell you again. I did a TikTok video with a friend of mine, and we talked about how toxic chemical sunscreens were. And oh my God, the dermatologist came out of the woodwork to say how stupid I was. And now, 4 years later, Whole Foods isn't carrying them anymore. Mm-hmm. And in Hawaii, you can't wear them and go in the ocean.
Interestingly, they just got rid of titanium dioxide from Skittles.
Well, yeah. Well, titanium dioxide is, it's not great. But what I was going to tell you is there's the chemical sunscreens, and those have various names. Octyl methoxycinnamate, which is the most popular one, octyl salicylate, homosalsate, oxybenzone. There's about 15 or 20 of them, and they have various chemical names. Those are best avoided unless you're going to burn. And if you're going to burn, you don't want to burn, use the chemicals, but get it off your skin as soon as you can. The second category is minerals, and there's two mineral sunscreens. One is titanium dioxide, which is nowhere near as bad as the chemical sunscreens, but it's still not awesome. The second is zinc oxide, and zinc oxide is awesome. Zinc oxide heals your skin in addition to protecting your skin. And it's by far and away the most effective sun protection topical you can use. Another strategy for protecting your skin from the sun is internal nutrition. And the nutrients that are in the Vision FX and the Occutive will have beneficial effects on your skin to protect your skin from the sun. And there's a lot of other things. Omega-3 fats can be very helpful for protecting your skin from the sun. Vitamin C is really important for protecting your skin from the sun. Also, when you have digestive toxicity and leaky gut, your skin will be more prone towards sun damage. Dirty blood. And tallow is not somebody's writing tallow is a sunscreen. Tallow is most definitely not a sunscreen. Tallow will burn your skin. It's an
fried
oil.
Skin. You get some fried skin going.
You'll fry your skin. So it's gonna. You definitely don't want to put tallow in your skin to go out in the sun. Although it's still better than vegetable oil. All right, I got a bowl here. Do you have one more?
We got tons more, but I'm gonna give you the important one because one is important.
Okay.
My friend's wife was recently diagnosed with ALS. She's lost the use of her left arm. She's been treated by the ALS Center. They have a experimental medicine to slow the disease. She's experiencing a lot of pain and fatigue. I love you on George's program. What's your opinion?
There's nothing your ALS people can do. There's nothing. Zero. They're owned lock, stock, and barrel by the medical model, and they have nothing. They have nothing to say or nothing to do or nothing they can do to help you. Nothing. Nada. Zippo. Nada. Nothing. But you can do it yourself because ALS is caused by the same thing that causes all other degenerative conditions. And you can look it up. I don't know if I was talking to you or I was on a radio show before this. The things that I've been talking about and Dr. Wallach has been talking about for 30 years are now starting to be recognized. So what do you think causes ALS that causes every other health challenge?
Leaky gut.
And the mediator?
Toxicity.
Dirty blood.
Dirty blood.
Leaky gut and dirty blood. And don't take my word for it, sir, whoever or ma'am, whoever this was. I think he says wife, so sir. Have your wife do two things. Number one, monitor her foods and notice when her symptoms get worse, and she'll see that it's connected to specific foods. And have her stop eating for a day and watch what happens to her symptoms. ALS needs to be regarded, like almost all other degenerative health conditions, as leaky gut and dirty blood. Now, you're probably also going to be dealing with dysglycemia, cortisol issues, adrenal issues, hypothyroidism, all that, but it starts with a leaky gut and dirty blood. And it's very tragic because our medical model is not only oblivious to these ideas and these concepts and unable to correct the problem, but we keep going to doctors thinking we're going to get better, and we just degenerate. And so it's a heartbreaking condition, but you can take care of this yourself. Test it out yourself. Don't take my word for it. Notice when you flare up and what you ate, and then stop eating and notice your symptoms resolve.
I wonder if Becca believes what you just said is accurate.
Have I ever said anything that doesn't make sense? Have I ever said anything where that just doesn't make sense?
Maybe once or twice, but not on this.
No, never.
All right.
Guys.
We really appreciate you. Thank you. We'll see you Friday.
See you Friday. God bless you all.
All right, everybody. Have a good evening.